Hello lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm doing another 360 book review where I talk about a book in 360 seconds and try and give you a all-encompassing view of it. Today we're talking about Cannibalism by Bill Schutt. This is a non-fiction book, as the title suggests, about various instances of cannibalism both in the natural and human world. So this is kind of a bit of a mishmash of a book which I personally really enjoyed, which is why I'm doing a review about it. Normally my reviews are fairly positive. Where, because it is looking at the specific instance of just cannibalism, it kind of covers a wide range of different fields. The beginning half of the book really focuses on the biological instances of cannibalism, specifically in the animal kingdom, looking at various, there's a lot of insects that eat each other, eat themselves for some reason, as well as some of the other examples of it in the animal kingdom in general. Then from there we move into more of the human side of things, looking at it both like culturally, historically, and from a survivalist perspective. So there really is something for everybody in here, but it is worth bearing in mind that if you are the kind of person who, for example, really loves anthropology but has zero interest in like biology, then there are going to be sections of this book that are going to bore you, and indeed vice versa. It really suits someone who is more of a general all-rounder of non-fiction and who can appreciate the different aspects of it. Somebody like myself, basically. I did find the anthropological stuff a fraction more interesting just because it was slightly more in depth. I understand why Bill Schutt did narrow the scope of this book. It would be very, very difficult to talk about the biological side of things in the kind of detail that I was potentially wanting from it without this book being about triple the size that it is, because with all of the things to do with the animal kingdom, there's always more information that you can kind of give in that side of things, and naturally my understanding of humans is slightly higher than it is of random water insects, for example, funnily enough, or snails. So that's something just to bear in mind if you are reading this. What is good though is it does have a very extensive bibliography, so if you are interested in some of the biology and you wish it had gone into more detail, I'm sure that there are other things that you could read that would fill in those gaps for you, and there's nothing immediately springing to mind where I felt let down by the amount of information in it. This is so heavily researched, it's very impressive the amount of information he's able to cram into a small book, and Bill Schutt's writing style is wonderfully light and very easy reading. Even when we do get bogged down in some of the science of it, it never feels particularly heavy. It keeps it moving nicely pace-wise. And then the later half of the book, I have absolutely no complaints. Once we got into the history and anthropology side of things, I was ecstatically happy. That's exactly what I want from my kind of books. What is really lovely about this book as well is it does not touch on the serial killer side of cannibalism. Bill Schutt does talk briefly in the introduction about our culture's obsession with the ideas of cannibalism and how it's been represented in pop culture with various characters like Hannibal Lecter in the past, and for him personally, he didn't want to touch on any of that out of respect to the victims of the families. Sorry, the families of the victims, that's the way around that should be. Also because that's the kind of subject that's been covered extensively in the true crime side of the non-fiction world, and not really something that there is a place for in here, which I appreciated because I don't really have any desire to read about people who got off eating other people. I would much rather read about it in more of a survivalist context. Some of the survivalist examples that it gave were absolutely fascinating. There was a whole big thing in America, and also with a particular troop happening in like the 1800s, which was really cool. I knew nothing about and was very, very interesting. It also talks about like examples of kind of anthropological or like archaeological examples of cannibalism and how difficult it can be to tell if those things have actually happened or not. It also talks in great detail about things like when we've had various Western groups who have gone over and met various tribes and other cultures and then decided to label them as cannibals whenever it was convenient for them to basically justify the mass slaughter of these people or the mass enslavement of these people to then get whatever resources we wanted when we landed. Reading this as a white person, very awkward. Holy crap, we're not very nice, are we? Historically, we're terrible. So that's something which was really, really interesting as well to read about, and actually the number of genuine instances of cannibalism is probably a lot lower than we think, and also it's very difficult to prove because, funnily enough, you're not really going to talk to the random white invader about whether you eat people or not for fear of being labelled as savage and enslaved or killed. So that creates some problems, anthropologically speaking, for studying this. It is a glorious book that is definitely perfect for anybody who is into like nature writing or history in general, and to be honest it gives me a very like Bill Bryson broader non-fiction kind of context sort of reading vibe from it. So if you are a fan of any of those kind of books out there, almost like a Homo sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari kind of kick to it, with slightly more focus obviously than his books, I would really recommend picking this one up as well. I had such a good time reading it, and I would definitely recommend Bill Schutt's books to anybody. I know he has another book out that is something to do with various instances of drinking blood. The guy likes to focus on his like consumption of human parts of things like that, doesn't he? A little bit gross, but there we go. And I definitely want to pick that one up sometime soon because I think it'd be really, really fascinating to read. So yeah, I would 100% recommend this. And that's pretty much it from me. Have a wonderful reading week, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye!